Dragon Ball Sparking Zero DLC 2, Dragon Ball Character Pack 1 has released, and people are furious. We'll be talking about that, as well as the fact that Dragon Ball DAIMA may not be canon. That is, if you believe Dragon Ball Sparking Zero and take it as a reputable source of information. And then we'll also be talking about Christopher Sabat and his preview at Ultra Ego Vegeta. We're breaking all this down right now. So first off, let's start with Dragon Ball Sparking Zero DLC Pack 2 DAIMA Character Pack 1 and the controversy that it caused. So in case you're not aware, I did a video and it was basically going over the leaks about what we'll be getting in the pack. And now that the pack has released, people are disappointed. Now, I don't want to say everybody's disappointed. There are some people that are happy with this content, but people are remarking about how it is lacking compared to DLC 1, and it is overpriced. People are already saying DLC 1 was overpriced at $18 for the characters that it presented us with, and now DLC 2 is at $10, and people are saying that it's overpriced. And that is pretty fair. When you think about it, you aren't getting any new stages, and the characters are lacking. Again, Dragon Ball Sparking Zero treats the transformations as characters themselves, but if you take away the transformations and only consider each new character as a unique character, then you got Vegeta, Glorio, Pansy, and Majin Buu for DLC Pack 2, and a Goku costume so he can turn into Super Saiyan at $10. Whereas for the Dragon Ball Sparking Zero DLC 1 with Superhero, you got Piccolo, Cell Max, Gohan, Gamma 1, and Gamma 2, as well as a Piccolo costume for $18. With that being said, though, on the DLC 1 front, you actually got more transformations than you're getting in DLC 2, and you're getting one more character altogether. And people still felt scammed at how DLC 1 was treating them. What does all this mean? People are furious. There is some people upset that Dragon Ball Sparking Zero has decided to format their DLC seasons this way. And, you know, that's fair. People are going to be furious if they feel like they're being scammed and if they feel like it's overpriced, and Dragon Ball Sparking Zero is having a tough time maintaining a strong player base, but you're still going to see active players every time they release new DLC. That's just how it is. At least we can say Dragon Ball Sparking Zero is getting DAIMA DLC. Xenoverse 2 announced its DAIMA DLC way back in February with Adult Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta being announced, and they still haven't shown any new thing from it, so at least Sparking Zero is getting DLC. DLC 3 is still to come out with Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, and I'm expecting them to put a lot more into it because now that the series concluded, they should have a lot more content to cover. Anyways, let's talk about the Dragon Ball DAIMA continuity issue. Of course, if you've been watching the channel and you followed along with my Dragon Ball DAIMA coverage, there was a lot of stuff that was inconsistent and some stuff that was consistent with Dragon Ball Super, and this is just another thing that adds on to it. So in Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, you have Chi-Chi, Bulma, and Videl in the encyclopedia section of the game, where they talk about all the characters and they give their own little descriptions. Basically, what's going on is Goku Mini from Dragon Ball DAIMA is being talked about by Chi-Chi, Bulma, and Videl, and they do not recognize him. They basically are saying he looks kind of familiar to how he looked in the OG Dragon Ball series, but doesn't have a tail. And it's just a general sense that they don't know him. And then this has been letting people to believe that Dragon Ball Super is not canon to Dragon Ball DAIMA and takes place in a separate continuity. Now, while this could be a realistic possibility, I think it's also possible that this is just the designers and people in the game design not really knowing themselves, and they're just playing around with it. Keep in mind, if you take this as fact, then you also have to consider some of the movie characters canon, because some of the movie characters are recognized by Chi-Chi, Bulma, and Videl. So this is just a situation where if you want to believe it, you can, and consider it separate continuities based off the Dragon Ball Sparking Zero encyclopedia mode, but it's not 100% proof. Alright, now that that's been said, let's get into the Christopher Sabat sneak peek at Ultra Ego Vegeta. I'll go ahead and roll the video now.
Oh man, it looks like my favorite line is going to have to be something along the lines, because I don't know what it's going to be in the dub version, but it would be Kakarot's body may have a mind of its own, but me, I'm all ego.
Wasn't that amazing? Christopher Sabat is amazing. I heard that and I was like, oh my god, he's amazing. Of course, Dragon Ball Super Season 2 has not been confirmed yet, but Christopher Sabat obviously is aware of it. He's aware that Ultra Ego exists, and somebody must have either been telling him what happens in the manga, or he's been reading it himself, because he knew that quote right off the top of his head, which is just amazing. I really love that Christopher Sabat is still into Dragon Ball and wants the series to come back, as we all do. I'm just ready for the manga to come back at any point. Anyways, guys, that will be it for this video. If you enjoyed, make sure you leave a like, comment down below, and subscribe to keep up to date with all things Dragon Ball news and commentary, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace off.